Hey, what's up, people? Marco here. And this time around, we're going to be talking about the Kurama RDA by, I don't know how you read it, TRRIM or TRIM Innovations. So the folks behind this are the same people who brought us the Tress mod and the Boss mod and the Vertex RDA. So during the recent convention here, the PVF Christmas party, I was approached by Third and the Panera Brothers, and they talked to me about this, and they requested that I do a video on it. So they sent this over for review, and as always, I still have free hand to say whatever the fuck I want. So this is what the package comes with. It comes with the stainless steel cap. It comes with one in black, which is pretty spiffy. I just don't want to spoil it, so I've kept it in the box ever since. It comes with a wide bore, which has this weird asterisk-like design, but serves its purpose. Those little ridges serve as a spitback guard of sorts. And it comes with the standard cap for 510 drip tips right there, with the same airflow control functions. You can have single or dual, or you can have all of them open, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. Okay. Now the unique thing about the RDA is its design. It has no posts, which initially I was like, what the hell? You know, how the hell do you build this thing? But anyway, it's pretty easy to build, and I'm going to talk to you about it. I'm not going to build it on camera, not because it's too tough to build on camera, but mainly because it's going to take too much time. Okay? Basically, I'm going to explain how it works and how to wick it, because the build is easy. The wicking part is what tends to get a bit tricky. So I have mine situated this way. You can have two on either side forming a V shape. You can have four forming an X shape, or you can have two facing one, so you can have a through and through wick. Goes in like that. Okay, the specs of the build. This is 9 wraps each of stainless steel wire, 0.40 millimeters in diameter for the wire gauge, and that's roughly about 26 gauge for AWG. And the internal diameter is 2.5 millimeters. They're microcoiled. Okay? So the way the atomizer is set up is it has these flathead screws on on all 4 corners. So you have like a north, south, east, and west thing going on there. I use a 1.4 to 2 millimeter flathead screwdriver to fasten them in. And for the center screw, which is where the other lead of your coil would sit, right in the center, you screw it in through this little recessed thing here. I thought it was an airflow hole. It turns out this is where the recessed screw is. So you pop your flathead screw in, you screw it out like that, and you screw it back in when you're done, right there. Okay? I'm not going to bother building it on camera. But just one tip when you're building it, you're going to want to make sure that the lead or the coils are not touching the deck but aren't situated too high up either. The reason why is because you want to have your wicks wick efficiently, and at the same time you don't want your coils to touch the drip cap or the 510 cap right here if you're using it. You don't want that to happen because you don't want this thing burned, and you don't want to short when it makes contact on the stainless steel. All stainless steel parts that you see are 304 grade. Okay? It's pretty easy to build, actually. It's the wicking part that gets a bit tricky. So there, you want your coils going nice and firm and even from the inside out. Okay? And we're gonna wick this shit up. So, Japanese organic. I'm just gonna do it through and through for the purpose of this video. Normally what I do is I tuck the cotton underneath the coils and have it cooking on like a bed of cotton like that. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to do a through and through one because it's easier, and I find that it looks pretty neat. It looks pretty spiffy. There. It's going to look something like that. You're going to trim the excess portions off. It wicks pretty decently when I wick it this way, but of course, given that it's built pretty low and using stainless steel wire, you're still going to want to make sure that you check for dry hits. If you have a mod capable of temperature sensing, you're going to want to maximize that, since stainless steel wires can be read by most of the new devices that have temperature sensing or temperature control features. So you're going to want to tuck it in like a little snake like that, in a little like S shape or reverse S shape. Alright, going to soak it up. I got some Quiroga here from Hamog, a good friend named Eric. So this is vanilla that I'm going to be vaping on it. You're going to want to soak it up. One thing to make sure that it doesn't dry up prematurely, you're going to want to make sure that the center of the cotton is sort of flushed down. So it's like it's going to look like a little M, a little child's M, if you will. And just make sure it doesn't dry prematurely, and it maximizes the saturation on either one. I have this fully dilated on both sides. Fully dilated makes it sound like a fucking vagina, but anyway. Set this junk aside and go for it. Alright, that's what I meant by it dries up pretty quick. You're going to want to soak it up a bit more. The flavor retention on it is actually pretty great, given the fact that the air holes are pretty big. I like the flavor retention on it. It's pretty decent. The only thing is that it dries up pretty quick. You might want to like shrink the air holes down if you're going to be vaping at really high temperatures and shit, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, so flavor retention on it. This atomizer wasn't particularly designed for flavor retention. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that don't expect it to really kick you in the face with it. But given that you can build 4 coils on it, and you can tuck the cotton underneath and build like a bed of cotton under it, that really amplifies the flavor retention because you have the nice airflow going through it, so you get decent clouds. And with a bed of cotton underneath it, which I find to be more efficient, it actually amplifies the taste because it takes longer for it to dry. And I would advise doing more coils. Everyone knows surface area is king. So the wider the surface area, the better the flavor output. And you want to maximize an atomizer like this. It's smaller than most of the ones out there. It's a lot smaller. So you're gonna want to maximize the fact that it has a reduced chamber and it has that sort of concave shape on the side. So it really allows for a decent airflow inside and amplifying the flavor. Particularly when I build it on a single coil and I just like do a macro on it, like 3mm guide, it just tastes absolutely amazing, especially with single air hole. I like the versatility that the airflow functions give. But really the major point to this atomizer that I really loved is that if any of you are familiar with the Yu Yu Hakusho series, Ghost Fighter as it's known locally, Kurama is one of the characters there, and that's really what generated my interest in this, because he was my favorite character in that show growing up. But that's completely beside the point. I just wanted to share that shit. Pros and cons. Well, yeah, we've talked about the flavor retention, the vapor output on it. I like the versatility that it gives you, not only an aesthetic versatility in the sense that it comes with a black version for those of you who like it that way. You have performance versatility in terms of, do you want it for flavor? Do you want it for clouds? Do you want it for both? You can build up to a quad coil on it, very nice and easy. You're not going to want to use extremely thick wires because the post holes, or the wire holes, there are no posts obviously, are not that big. So I would advise the maximum being about 0.45 or maybe 0.50 if you feel hardcore about it. But I went with a 0.40 because it made building a lot easier. It was way easier to build with a 0.40 since you're probably going to want to run multiple coils like duals, tris, and quads on it. Stick to 0.40. That way you're able to maximize the atomizer as it was designed. I just ran out of wire when I was building this earlier, so I was like, fuck it, let's just do a dual coil. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I didn't build on the video. I'm fresh out of wire, it's been raining like fuck here, and I couldn't go out and buy any, so that's pretty much it. Alright, now for the cons. Now, one thing is that new users, and I've said this on other devices as well, would need some assistance. It's not completely alienating the new users, but you may want to watch this video if you're new. No, kidding aside, you're going to want to study it really well before you build on it, because if you build too high, if you elevate your coil too much, it's going to make contact on the top cap, and you're not going to want that. It's going to fuck it up. You're not going to experience it properly. It might be difficult for new users to pop the wires in since the post or the wire holes are pretty small. You're not going to want you're not going to want to try it without, making sure you're doing it absolutely safe. Get some help if you need to. If you're new, if you're not familiar with using the RDA, it took me a while, honestly, it did, and I consider myself, fairly familiar with most RDAs on the local market. But this is just completely different. It's a new creature that hasn't been seen locally. We haven't really experienced postless atomizers. We've had one pole atomizers, we've had quad pole atomizers, but no pole atomizers are pretty new. So you're gonna want to be extra careful, particularly when you're popping in the coil, or the other lead of your coil in the center slot right there. You're gonna want to make sure that you don't have it half screwed in. You want it nice and tight. You don't want the wires crisscrossing, because you don't want to get a short and a hot spot right in the middle. It's going to hurt like fuck, and it's going to be pretty dangerous. You don't want to do that. The package, in case you do fuck it up, comes with spares. So you can, it comes with 2 spare screws and a peak insulator, so you're not going to have to order from them. They were nice enough to include one. And a couple of spare O-rings for either side. So it's for the top and for the bottom, the base O-ring right there. Tolerances on the threads are nice and smooth. The laser engraving of the Kurama name on it and the Kurama logo, very well made. Nice aesthetics to it. Very stubby atomizer, very minimalist. Less is more is what people are going for nowadays. So it's a very nice aesthetic look to it. Looks really sexy on the Duke. It has an adjustable copper pin on the bottom, by the way. It has a pretty long neck, honestly, which is good, because some mods like the Duke don't have a floating or adjustable pin. So there you go. Nice, solid copper. Good conductivity on mechs. Makes nice and good contact on my rouleau. It's absolutely efficient. It's not a presumptuous atomizer. It was a very daring attempt, of course, not having poles and going for a more advanced, going to target more advanced users. But it worked out in the long run. It served its purpose, and I like how versatile the atomizer is. It's pretty. It's out there. I mean, the idea behind it is pretty whack, but the execution was very well done. I'm probably gonna build a quad on this when I get some wire. Shit! Thank God it finally stopped raining. Maybe I can buy some tomorrow. Just one last hit on it, and I'm gonna say goodbye. I wish you all happy holidays and good peace, love, and good happiness stuff. It's the end of the year, so yeah. Yep, that's the Kurama RDA by TRRIM. I'm just gonna call it TRRIM because TRRIM is just tongue-tied. So TRRIM Innovations. All right, these aren't new people to the scene. These are people who've been in it, I'm guessing, a bit longer than I have, or probably about the same amount of time that I have. These are, it's a very well-made device. So I'm gonna catch you guys very soon with other videos. I'm gonna be shooting a couple more, and I wish you happy holidays again. Cheers, people. Vape hard.